All right, welcome to Super Pumped. Akshay, what are we discussing today?
Okay, so today we're interviewing the founders of Matic, which is a crypto protocol made in India by two awesome engineers. And before we interview them, I thought I'll make a few notes on what the protocol does and why they're important to the Ethereum ecosystem.
Let's do it.
All right, so this is introducing Matic. Look, we discussed in the last video about how Ethereum is slow and expensive, and the base layer needs to scale, right? We've all had these problems especially if you use the protocol, you wait over 10 hours. There are cases of people waiting 10 hours to confirm a transaction, or sometimes paying, $900. That's about 70,000 rupees for a transaction. So Matic basically
Wow, who paid $900?
Yeah, that's awesome, right?
Yeah.
And somebody tweeted that saying we've officially priced out experimentation.
Awesome. So Matic makes this fast and cheap.
They are helping the Ethereum blockchain scale. And so, they're able to confirm transactions in 1 to 2 seconds and at a fraction of a cent. The Matic chain is a side chain to the Ethereum chain, right? So basically what it means is it's a completely separate blockchain. And I guess more accurately, it's called a commit chain. But for the purpose of this, it's a completely separate blockchain, which performs the transactions at a high,
Frequency,
speed and low cost, and then reports the transactions to the main chain. That way, you're able to do this once every few blocks, and that allows you to save cost.
Got it.
Right, you're not using you're not clogging up the main blockchain. What's important to remember is that it's a separate blockchain with its own set of validators, right? So there are admittedly not as many validators as the main Ethereum chain. So you could argue that it's relatively more centralized, but decentralization is a spectrum where Bitcoin is most decentralized and PayPal is the most centralized, and all of the stuff in between falls here.
Got it.
And so that's the trade-off. And they're killing it, right? So they have over $1 billion worth of
Money locked in.
Money locked in through Aave, which is the borrow lending protocol, and several other protocols. Now, there are several Ethereum scaling solutions, obviously. Optimistic rollups, which are for smart contracts, ZK rollups for transactions, and several teams are building these projects. These guys are basically just killing it, right? What they're also doing is they've identified the fact that this solution may be relatively more centralized, so they're actually building tools to integrate all of Ethereum scaling solutions. So they're basically becoming an aggregator for all layer 2 scaling.
Awesome.
This is the Indian I guess
ethos just completely showing in the crypto world, right? Like, we will just provide top quality service to whatever needs you have, sir. You just let me know.
Exactly. So the developer tools, support, everything. One thing before we start the interview, I think it's important to remember we're discussing a project that has a token. A lot of people are very excited about this token. It's gone up 100x already.
It seems like the whole world is aping into Matic, and we can see a lot of exuberance in India too. Though it's heartwarming to get the support, but please keep in mind all crypto is very volatile. Never invest what you can't afford to lose, and leverage equals to danger. Right? The founder is coming and saying this, so naturally we would obviously also say the same thing.
That's the 101 on Matic. I think we should talk to the founders.
So we caught up with Sandeep and Jayanti and spoke to them about the recent success that they've had, what plans they have for the future, and how are they generally feeling about things. So enjoy the interview. All right, gentlemen, welcome to Super Pumped. After a lot of tech issues, we're finally here. Two of unicorn founders, I would say, in India. I took about 20 minutes to figure out a Zoom call. This is a great start to this interview. Welcome, Jayanti and Sandeep. Welcome to Super Pumped. Akshay, why are we doing this interview?
Okay, I'm very excited about this interview, Tanmay, because we have the founders of I have to check the market cap each time, but I think it might probably now at the moment as we speak be like a $7 to $8 billion market cap. Jen, did you want to correct me, or am I in the ballpark?
Today only JD, go ahead.
Yeah, today's only like 1.4 USD, all-time high.
So what's the
right
market cap?
The fully diluted would be 11.4 million. 11.4 billion.
Oh,
11,
yeah. Just what's
just
a billion?
Few zeros.
So we are the founders of a $11.4 billion protocol, which is India's first unicorn protocol. And guys, this is a big deal. Like I'm such like I'm personally honored to have the both of you on this, right? And I've been discussing this with Tanmay as well about our excitement, because if this was a tech startup, this would be
Yes.
on the front page.
Yes, of everything, every
Yes.
day on Twitter and newspapers. But it's almost feels like, Akshay, it's almost feels like nobody knows about, Polygon. Why is that?
I don't know. I think it's just because there's this culture built around tech for the last 7 years, where I think you have to be unprofitable to be like. So unless your unit economics are really poor, and you don't have a minus, like when you write the balance sheet, there's a square bracket when you write numbers that are negative. So unless you have square brackets in your balance sheet, you're not permitted in the club. So I feel like today we have an opportunity to, in our own small way, change that. We just think that crypto is underexposed in India, and it probably will be bigger than
Yeah.
tech.
Yeah. No, I was saying that, if you, although we never really actively, because of the uncertainty here in India from the government and, establishment, so we never really marketed in India, to be honest, and never really, actively tried to sell or kind of, have those tokens available. But those, all our exchanges and all that made it available. But then somebody was giving me a statistics like, internal statistics from an exchange, that I think 70 to 75% of all the crypto holders in India have, bought or, sold Matic in the past and all that. So in that community, which is like 7-8 million, maybe 10 million people, although in worldwide it's a very big community, but India is like 10 million. Yeah. 10 million is nothing, right? So 10 million people is nothing. So, but that community, is fairly well aware of Matic, I'd say.
I think it's time to get Akshay Kumar to endorse Matic at some point. So actually, the next question I would have is, right, like, how do two, engineering boys from India, how do they stumble upon Ethereum and then the solution to helping Ethereum scale? Like, how did this idea come about, and how can other engineers in India also look at crypto and solutions that can be built in order to scale this?
So, in 2017, I was trading Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., and also doing my side projects. I was in housing.com at the time in 2017. And I was also doing some side projects on multiple stuff, and I'm also in movies and TV series a lot. So I created a platform where you can bet on the TV series theories, like Game of Thrones. After each episode, you can go and bet, okay, ye marega, ye wapas aayega, something like that, and you can bet, and you can bet money on the theories, and people can just vote and get the money out of it.
Scaling solution to lose money. Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's where it began.
Yeah. So I wanted to have a global payment system. So Stripe was not there in India. Paytm was there, but Paytm was not global. So then I started looking into Bitcoin because it's a global and you don't need KYCs and registrations, everything. And then I realized, there is a chance to create something in this area, because people were talking about money, but they are not people are not talking about the scaling at all. And then at the same time, the hype came, like 2017 hype, the crypto hype, and I made some money out of it, and that's I decided, okay, let's leave housing.com and do this full time, right? And then after just that, CryptoKitty also came, and they jammed the Ethereum network, right? And being a developer, I thought, let's look into it more deeply, and started looking into it, and realized that this is a good way to we have an opportunity to scale here. And that's how started Matic, started creating POCs, and then talking with Sandeep and Anurag, my fellow co-founders. Right now pitched them Matic and the scalability and vision, and they said, yeah, let's do it. And Sandeep was CEO at the company in Delhi. He left it and joined me full time. And Anurag was also doing GST based startup in India, left that and joined me in Matic. Yeah, so that's how we started. So we did. I had no background in entrepreneurship before. I went to the VCs at the time, Indian VCs, and they said, "ये क्या बनाएगा crypto में? तुम्हारे पहले team बना पहले, right?" And I was not from IIT, right? I'm not IIT. Sandeep भी नहीं है. Anurag is not also.
How dare you guys?
IIT.
First of all,
Yeah.
हिम्मत कैसे हुई तुम्हें ऐसे स्टार्टअप बनाने की?
कहाँ से आए
हाँ.
भाई तुम, कहाँ से आए हो भाई तुम पैसा लेने?
And in my
So,
scenario,
yeah.
what was happening is that I was like, as JD was saying, that I was I was running a company. I have done multiple startups. Like, मतलब मुझे ये entrepreneurship was like really my passion. In my last year of engineering itself, I somehow got a project to, kind of do the election automation for BJP Delhi, right? So, और वो पूरा election हार गए, वो अलग बात है 2009 में. वहाँ से I got some flavor of this part, and then I did my MBA also after that from NITI Mumbai, and then uske baad I was with Deloitte for some time. Did not like that consulting part. Then I got a good position at Welspun, which is one of the biggest textile company in India. So I was the CTO of their e-commerce, and there, like, I kind of bootstrapped their entire e-commerce business, and I kind of got the confidence that I can go out and do something on my own. And I started Scope Weaver, which was basically a B2B marketplace for services. This thing, so ran it for some time. But it was not scaling that well. So my this thing was, my passion was that I need to build a scaling, like, not scaling business. I want to build a business which scales really heavily, right? So, and it's ironical that eventually I am doing something which is into Ethereum scaling and blockchain scaling.
Jayanti, maybe can you just explain the blockchain trilemma and why can't you just have really fast transact? Like, what is the limitation?
I was saying that actually, just recently I also did this exercise, so maybe that will help, to for the average user to learn, right? So why exactly blockchain even needs scaling, right? So a very simple example you can take is, let's say, we all used to book Tatkal tickets from IRCTC, right? So when you are interacting with and I'm trying to tell the difference between Web 2 and Web 3, right? So IRCTC is a Web 2 site, like Web 2.0 we call. So when you're trying to book a Tatkal ticket from IRCTC website, you're essentially interacting with the Railways of India website, right? And that website is run by only Railways. So Railways is running, let's say, some servers on this, and they are like, when you are clicking on some buttons, they are processing the logic. Now, with blockchains, what happens is that it's a decentralized computing. It's Web 3. The Web, where we say that it's decentralized computing, means hundreds or maybe even thousands of servers are computing the same logic, like, at the same time. It's not like they are doing parallel computing and they're collaborating to compute. They are all computing the same logic. So imagine, let's say you had to do 10 rupees of logic computation when you were booking a Tatkal ticket with IRCTC. Now it is 10 multiplied by 1000, because all 1000 servers or the nodes who are running the blockchain, they have to run. And that makes it, you can already imagine that when the same thing is being run by 1000 people, it's automatically is going to become less scalable, right? Because the same thing has to be run by 1000 people. And that is, I mean, that part you can see that, since it's decentralized, multiple people have to run it. But that will take you to the decentralization trilemma, that, you have, let's say, the decentralized, the trilemma says that you have security, decentralization, and scalability. Out of these three, you can choose only two. So you can imagine, if 1000 people are running the network, then either you can have, decentralization and security. That means very large number of people are running it and it's very, very secure, but then you lose on scalability. Or you can choose, let's say, decentralized and scalability, but then it will be less secure, because what will happen, that many people are computing it, but they are not, let's say, coming on consensus with each other. So whatever you are doing, the security might get hit, right? So something like that. So
and yeah, Ethereum currently have like thousands of nodes. Like every country will have a like few hundred of nodes on Ethereum. So whenever you making a transfers or contract calls on the Ethereum, any transactions, it will be verified by all the nodes in the world. So that way it's secure. Like, no one can change it. But of course, like it needs scalability, because of course it will take time to verify all the things simultaneously. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's what also leads you to layer 2, what we are doing at Matic, right? So what we are doing is taking some part of the trilemma, let's say scalability and decentralization, or scalability and security, and trading off a bit of decentralization, not completely, bit of decentralization. For example, Matic commit chain right now, or Polygon commit chain, has 100 validators, which is fairly decentralized for proof of stake, but then they are able to compute at much faster and are secure. So
So if we take like an analogy of, let's say, routing traffic, right? Is it fair to say that the national highway is Ethereum, Ethereum's layer 1 network, and the exits along the national highway for specific destinations are side chains, side commit chains, layer 2 solutions, different types? Is that a roughly accurate analogy?
It is.
That, it is, but no. What I would say is the kind of simple like bank and Paytm, right? So before UPI, you had a Paytm, right? You deposit your money in the Paytm and then make up faster transactions with people, friends, and retail, shops and everything. And when you're done, you can basically move your money from Paytm to bank. So you can say like bank is like Ethereum, slow and everything.
Got it.
And Paytm is kind of matic, like faster, cheaper. But yeah, like Paytm just do the transfers, right? Nothing else. They have like now that you can shop and book flight tickets and everything, and gaming, right? In Matic, in Polygon Matic, you can also do the custom applications deploy on top of it. So that's a different plus decentralization. Yeah.
One more analogy can be that you can think of it as the a big metro, like Ethereum is, let's say, the Mumbai, and then all these layer 2s are the suburb. Let's say Polygon commit chain is a Thane, and like Palghar. So या फिर ये जो वाशी in Mumbai. So you have bigger space, like larger roads and all that. The lifestyle is better, but then it's not the main Mumbai, right? It's not the commercial hub.
What is this analogy? Now I can't think of Vitalik Buterin is Mumbai ka Don in my head now, and that's a whole separate video in itself.
So your security, let's say Mumbai mein security bahut zyada hai. Your security is very high in Mumbai, and then suburbs might not have, like like for example in Palghar, let's say the security is not that big, but then the space is big and all that. So multiple kind of these analogies can be given.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm transferring $2 to you, I don't need the most secure network in the world to do that.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So you use the scarce block space of layer 1 for the most important transactions of the world.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's actually good for it to be priced high, so that people are not launching, I don't know, what was that, Rocket and Poo Coin
yeah.
on the most important network in the world.
As it's happening right now, right? Like I was reading some tweets yesterday saying what is happening. Ethereum generated, all-time high fees in the last week or so. And someone was like, it's because of a fucking dog meme called Shibu Inu that everyone is spending so much ETH to hoard Shibu Inu. So actually, this actually makes sense, right? Like important, extremely big transactions require that space. But me buying Shibu Inu doesn't really need this.
Yeah.
Can you actually give some examples of projects that are using Matic right now?
Yep. There are, like now I think we are approaching 300 plus. So the biggest one would be, let's say, Poly market, which is a very big prediction market. Another biggest one is Aave, for example. Aave is you can think of it, it's a blockchain bank, right? So
Correct.
It basically has, like you can do lending, borrowing over there. So recently they moved to Polygon, and now they have 3.2 or $3.5 billion in their, in their bank, in the saving accounts, and you can borrow and do things like that. And then since then, Sushi Swap, which is like a decentralized exchange, they are their Poly market is their Decentraland. Gaming and NFT field, we are many, even in the Western world, many people don't know that, like in the NFT, like Elon Musk created an NFT, right? We saw recently on the tweet, and then Jack Dorsey, he tokenized his first ever tweet, and even these guys, Mark Cuban created an NFT. All those NFTs are actually hosted on Polygon. So, but
there is one company, shipping country, right? There's one country which has a shipping company, is also on Polygon, I guess. I forgot the name, but
CargoX.
CargoX. Yeah.
CargoX.
Which country?
Yeah.
Which country? I forgot
Egypt.
the name,
Egypt.
But yeah. Egypt.
So
yeah.
they are a European. Yeah, they're a European company, and then in the Egypt, shipping industry has kind of like, they have said that okay, we'll do all transactions now on Polygon. So that kind of stuff.
That is amazing.
As you're giving the examples, I've just bought some more Matic.
not a investment advice.
This is not.
Yeah.
Tanmay has turned entertainment and investing into one sport, basically, right? So every time I speak to Tanmay, he's like, "Arey, I just bought a little bit more. I don't want to name a coin because," and I'm like, "Dude, why?" He's like, "I was just bored."
Oh, gotta spend that
Is it?
Ethereum pump money somewhere, dude.
Tanmay will be responsible for 20% of EIP 1559 he burns. So you can thank him for pumping Ethereum.
Yesterday Uniswap. What is the Uniswap fees? People spent $42 million fees on Uniswap only yesterday.
And
It's
compare
crazy.
that, like, Uniswap is one of the protocols in Ethereum, right? And Bitcoin, Bitcoin network generated 5 million, and only Uniswap generated 42. Total Ethereum fees would be like maybe 100 million yesterday.
Enjoy
So,
some of that
Ethereum is that
Bitcoiner
big,
hate
people
coming
don't
your way,
realize.
buddy.
Yeah. I mean, I generally get a lot.
There's
yeah,
an incredible website. There's an incredible website called fees.wtf where you can go and connect your MetaMask wallet, and it'll tell you historically how much fees you have ever spent on the Ethereum network at today's value. And you probably don't want to do that to yourself if you have used the Ethereum network.
I would not do that. Why would I do that? Why do you think Batik, won this battle, right? Do you think power laws apply to scaling solutions?
This is a very interesting question. When we started 2017 and chose one design of sidechain, right? So there are many design people chose at the time, like Omisego was there. Vitalik advised them, at the time in 2017-18, and we had multiple other competitors as well, like Loom was there. And what we thought, like everyone is doing something, but people are not, the other competitors are not looking at the actual problem. So scalability is a problem, of course, right? But who is going to build on top of, who needs that scalability, right? So users, developers, right? And developers are lazy people. If you give something and they just use it and they just say, okay, hey, yeah, like ask you 10 questions, like how do I do that? How do I do that? So if you think like developers are smart, then you are mistaken, right? And so what we thought is, we just want to leverage the Ethereum's users and the tooling instead of creating our own tooling and infra, right? So that way, let's say if you're an Ethereum developer, you are building on Ethereum, and if you want to scale your applications, it would be easy for you to just move the things and just change the URL to the Matic, and that's it, right? In 1 hour or maybe maximum 1 week, you are done moving your stuff, right? So that was the biggest like at the time it seems small, but right now if you think about it, it's very much bigger advantage we had and we have right now, right? So every developer just want to get ahead with because they're also building a businesses, right? So if you are building app, you're also building your own businesses, and you don't want to get into the scalability and the other problems, right? You just want your users to have a like good experience, right? And that's where I would say we had a good institute, and I don't know, this we thought like this is a big thing and we built it. And no, we just use the same similar infra on Ethereum, like EVM and everything, and started with that instead of doing our own. Yeah, I think that was a good I think the decision we made early on. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. And also, like, in the in the blockchain field, especially around 2018 and all that, where most of these scaling projects raised money and all that stuff, right? Like, some people always used to tell us that you guys eventually will do good because you guys have an actual dedicated team who's like working day in, day out. I think I generally used to say at that time that I, Jayanti, and Anurag, we are like, like our biggest strength is all three of us are giving like 15 hours a day. So like 80, 90 hours, 100 hours a week we are working. So 300 hours. Show me one project whose founders are doing this, right? And can compete with us in that sense.
So
And
we also, yeah, I just want to add, like we still ping people, ping developers, applications, developers, and solve the problems and code right now.
Yeah.
Still at this stage, no one is doing it.
Yeah.
Our support is like best in the industry right now. Like if you are creating the application, you will know. Like we just go ahead and up to like 1 hour, so you will get the reply on our Telegram group or the group we have on Slack or whatever. That's our kind of and like how India we work like Indians, right? Like we just work 24 hours by 7, so we don't like.
We
I
know,
was
like,
just thinking that
Yeah.
saying
Yeah,
Indian engineering training is coming useful today.
Yeah.
No, but
Yes.
but I want to, like, one other thing that happened is that in this whole this thing that since we originated from India and then we did our IEO in Binance and all that, the whole of Western world never really took us seriously, right? And we had to work like 5x 10x more than what a Western team would do to get that kind of visibility, right? So for a very very long time, even it was sort of a meme on Twitter that people, sometimes our community members used to say that, okay, Polymarket did this much, like $40 million volume in one day, probably means nothing, right? Just like teasing people that still Twitter is sleeping on it and all that. And we kind of kept working in the background and providing all this support and all that, but not getting visibility, fighting hard in the market and all that.
Also, abhi bhi, some people are very rude to us and कि ये नहीं चल रहा है तुम्हारे में, ये नहीं चल रहा है, and then still we are okay मैं करता हूँ, I'm working personally on it, still we are
Like,
in that mode, कि भाई हाँ हम कर रहे हैं.
Yeah.
Indian mentality.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. You oh, so Tanmay, you asked why Matic not because of this.
Jay, this is
just one thing. Yesterday or day before yesterday, also like some of this guy, this bully kind of guy, he pinged us again, like with some big demand, and I said, JD, हमारा sleep आप फिर से वापस आ गया है. देना पड़ेगा.
it's so fascinating, Akshay, because like here are these engineering boys from India who discovered this whole other world, right? And discovered a very specific problem there and just applied their Indianness and engineeringness to it and just made, an extremely powerful solution to it. Like, JD, I want to ask you, right? Like, look, we are a country that knows how to build, right? Like, we are excellent at engineering. There's crazy amount of talent here. There's 1 billion people here and probably 3 billion engineers out of the billion people, right? So, like, what would you tell engineers who are watching this? Are there other problems? I'm sure there are many other problems in this world. Like, what direction should they think of? What problems do you foresee in the future that you think could be built out of India?
Every day I talk with engineers and entrepreneurs in India, and people, like, we are very kind of thinking that whenever we find any problem, think, okay, ये तो ये बहुत छोटा problem है, ये छोटा problem है, मतलब ये करेंगे तो क्या ही होगा, that problem, same problem foreigners do, very big, Silicon Valley, and that same problem they convert to the big company and do big out of it. Even if they have a small problem, सोचेंगे ये तो कोई भी कर सकता है.
Can you give an example?
So simple example, there is a fast.com company. It's a big company, $1 billion company. What it does is kind of वो आपसे पहले से just आपका information लेता है, credit card का information ले लेता है, right? And then when you check out, it just one click checkout, right? Just
Got it.
fast checkout.
Correct.
है ना? आप अगर मैं किसी को बोलूंगा कि मेरे को ये बनाना है, तो बोलेगा कि ये तो Amazon पे है ही, right? ये तो कहीं पे भी है. But now the fast.com अभी भी they just launch and everything.
Correct.
I think Akshay knows it, and then they are $1 billion company, right? Out of it. It's a small example, right? A small thing. Similar way, ये खाता बुक है, so people बोलते हैं ये तो feature है. These are the features, right? They don't think about, okay, ठीक है, बनाना तो ना, या लोगों को बना रहे, right? It's not like कि Paytm बना देखो तो क्या हो जाएगा. Don't think that way, यार.
We want to build a super app from day one, is what you're saying.
हाँ, सबको Facebook बनाना है, यार. Everyone say मेरे को तो सबसे अलग बनाना है. Even our employees, like, this going to get some, like, controversial, but still, like, I'm going to go ahead with it. But some our ex-employees also think, ये तो हम कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं यार, बाहर वाले अच्छा कर रहे हैं. We are not doing great tech work in Matic. Like, देखो वो लोग अच्छा कर रहे हैं, right? I said, no, don't think about that. We will do our best at our capacity, and let's see. What I'm saying now, like, they come back and building on Matic. Polygon, right? So that's people think about, बाहर जब गोरा बंदा अच्छा कर रहा है तो बहुत अच्छा है, अपन कर रहे तो ये तो सबको ही कर लेगा. So even if you are thinking a small idea, just go ahead with and build it, and let's see, like, if it works. This is an experiment. Either you fail or either you win. Either you get succeed. So, don't think about the failures. I didn't think about, Matic मेरा 10 billion USD का बनेगा. I never thought about it. I just wanted to fix the problem and just started with it. And I think
You know,
I hope
I
this answers your question.
मैं इसमें तन्मय एक चीज और ऐड करना चाहता था कि ना मैं मतलब yesterday also I was saying this to someone that इससे पहले मतलब इंडिया में जो the engineers and everyone like as we know that VC circle was very elitist, like even now it's very elitist and all that, right? You have to be IIT, IIM and all that. What this crypto thing is doing is that when I am talking to these young engineers now, right, what is happening is that even let's forget about entrepreneurship. Because of this crypto payments and all that, right, what they are able to do, the young engineer from just passing, just graduating from college, he's able to land $100,000 job, which जो IITs में न्यूज में आ जाती थी एक दिन की, Oracle में ये लग गया और वो ये हो गया वो हो गया, right? वो आज every fresher is getting, whoever is in crypto, he's getting like very high amount of salary because of this crypto amount. Why? Because this this funding is very very easy. So even raising funds for these people, like today we see any other, like today last week I saw a kind of a services company from Pune. They have raised like 1.52 million dollars, and they have been building, and now they have a global audience to cater to. Right now, although there is a lot of token chasing, because let's launch our own token and all that, but then the best thing that is happening is that that funding is opening up in India. And also not only the funding, this crypto, because it's global in nature, it also opens a global audience. So you have applications like Instadap, for example, from India, right? So which are one of the well-known applications in DeFi. There are other protocols coming up from India which are becoming really big. So I think I am very optimistic because Indian entrepreneurs, which I am like a very big fan of, that ये जो हमारा जुगाड़ और जो ये सब चीजें होती हैं, Indian entrepreneurship, जो fast thinking, street smartness and all that, that is now going to get global funding and global audience to sell to.
Also in India, if you are starting a crypto company now, people will fund you easily. I am seeing like many VCs are having a fund just for Indian entrepreneurs. It's because of the Matic Polygon, right? When we started, no one was giving money. So that's also
we literally
one.
there was a time where we had only 3 months of
Runway.
and I had to literally beg someone that give us 50K. Again, this
and one investor was asking like he was asking money back, कि मुझे पैसे वापस दे दो क्योंकि तुमसे कुछ नहीं होने वाला है, that level पे थे.
Yeah, I mean, there were people like like 6-7 people. We offered them at one point in time कि अगर किसी को, because the bear market had come in, right? So people were like really shaky ki yaar, whether this will happen or not. We said that okay, if you want, we can even refund your money. We don't want to take this moral debt on our heads and all that. And 6-7 people actually took that money back, and many of them would have made like $1.52 million out of it if they are simply held up, and few people actually held through. And I personally know a few people who are holding those tokens till now, and they are like that $1,000 is now I don't know, maybe like $1.5 million and things like that, which is a life-changing money in India or anywhere, in fact.
There seems to be a lot of, like, you guys have been through so much, right? And now is your time in the sun, right? JD, tell me, how has your interaction with Vitalik been? When was the first time you spoke to him? Just some insights of what you've learned from what he's building.
So I've talked with him during the conferences mostly, but we mostly talk about the less very tech level, like let's say Plasma. So we talked about So I was in the Plasma group. It's not a COVID Plasma; it's a Plasma framework for the scalability. And I was in the research group with Vitalik and multiple others Ethereum researchers since like 2017-18. And he's a very smart guy, and he's very much focused on the Ethereum blockchains and he's very transparent. So if you are building something good, then he will praise you, without any biases and anything. And if you're building something bad, he kind of comes to you and suggest you, okay, you can do that or that. So I would say he's kind of ego. There is no ego, like very earth to the earth guy. I'm saying like he's very talented. And yeah, I always interact. Love seeing his Twitter and the tech things on his Twitter. and also as a person, as a human, I think he also sent like huge bunch of tokens, money to crypto relief fund. Sandeep
Yeah.
created. I think Sandeep will tell more about his other side of the.
Yeah. I mean, Vitalik is like, like one in a billion kind of guy, to be honest. Like not one in a million, because like I was so basically I usually say this, that there are people who have breadth of knowledge, right? So they know multiple things, right? And then there are people who know depth of something, but there are very few people who have the depth as well as the breadth, right? I mean, depth in this much big breadth, and Vitalik is that person. Like he's like, I think 23, 24 right now, and like he can debate with the global economists on some sort of economic issues. He can debate with social impact and public good thing on and researchers who have spent 50 years on that, and kind of provide very strong counter arguments to them. He can debate with developers. He knows like programming very well. He's a mathematician. Like it's really mind boggling. It's like like people like these are like really different kind of people. Like I was saying to Akshay that our Balaji is also something like that, right? He has such a big breadth, and again depth also. So it's really amazing. And then as JD was saying, that he's very transparent, and like Ethereum Foundation overall, like they have done a really amazing job. Like why people ask me that why Ethereum is like, why you believe so much in Ethereum and all that. I believe that community and ethos, the Ethereum Foundation and Vitalik has also played a big role in it. It kind of gives us a feeling of that ownership, right? So when we are building, and JD can maybe, also vouch for it, that we don't think that Ethereum is Vitalik's or Ethereum Foundation's project. Like we think Ethereum is my project also. Like Ethereum is my network also. That feeling of ownership that the foundation has created amongst everyone, every community member, is what inspires these huge number of smart people, like some of the smartest people in the world, to come and contribute to Ethereum. And that's why I say that, any other chain, if I see, you have very and Bitcoin also inspired something like that for the early generation of the crypto kind of developers and all that. But apart from Bitcoin, I don't see any other apart from Ethereum, I don't see any other platform where the smartest people in the world are flocking to contribute to that platform. Like 99, yesterday we were talking to a Ethereum Foundation person. We were just estimating, and we realized that 99% of the contribution that goes into what Ethereum is and what Ethereum is going to become is from the third parties. Right? That's the most amazing thing about Ethereum community. And it's a very nice page. Maybe I'm not able to find that. Maybe I try to find that page again. But that page is something that really inspired me to be a part of that Ethereum. And that page is somewhere on the Ethereum side. It says philosophy of subtraction. So Ethereum Foundation has kind of built it in a way where they try to subtract themselves, like from the, like, because for any institution, once they start becoming bigger, there is this tendency of controlling more and more things, right? Which some of the other projects that we see, even exchanges and all that, large exchanges, there's a tendency to control everything in house, like okay, we own this and all that. But what Ethereum's philosophy of subtraction has been, is to if you have an opportunity where money can be made, you distribute it out to other people. You provide support to people where they can build things like that. And there is one line which always stuck to my mind, that instead of mattering more, Ethereum Foundation, Ethereum community tries to matter less, right? So meaning the Ethereum core leadership tries to matter less and give that attention and kind of the the meaning to other people, distribute that meaning to other people. And those are some of the key things in the Ethereum community which kind of attracts and makes these passionate entrepreneurs who want to build and grow Ethereum.
So guys, moving on, Sandeep, I want to ask you about your COVID relief initiative on Twitter, right? Where you basically brought the entire crypto community to bear to contribute to COVID relief in India. So maybe you can talk a little bit more about that and the impact that has had over the last few weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I think like a lot of people in the crypto community wanted to do some things about it, but nobody was willing to take that risk or kind of that initiative, right? Because how to bring that crypto and, convert it into India and really use it on the ground and all that. So that was a challenge. And plus I was also with my friends, and my brother-in-law actually is a doctor and he's heading a COVID department. So, in a hospital in Mathura. And, in the last few days, when in the run up to that, I starting that fund, like, we used to start in the morning with like 10 or 12 requests for oxygen somewhere. And then, by the afternoon or 2 p.m., we used to hear that out of them 11 or 12 people, 6 have passed, or 7 have expired and all that. And that was already feeling that kind of that level of rage in between me. And then, like my sister got it, my brother-in-law got it, and then they traveled to me like 3 days back. And I also had some symptoms, and I had COVID before, so the symptoms were mild. But I was like, when it like also entered my home in this kind of situation, I was like really enraged with it. I was like, fuck this virus. Like, that, I want to do something about it and all that. And, crypto community, everyone wants to do something, but then nobody is able to because of all this. Somebody needs to take the risk. So I just, posted on Twitter. I didn't think that this will be this big, because all we were doing till that time was running a small kitchen in East Delhi, which is the kind of the, less prosperous part of Delhi. So, distributing food to these, poor families which are quarantined fully. So, I thought that maybe, some money will come from this, and then, we'll kind of expand that kitchen to a larger number and all that. But then, this kind of exploded because Balaji, kind of donated to it and talked about it. And then Vitalik, donated huge amount. And as of today, like, we have raised, I think, $6.5 million, right? And then the biggest thing is, within 20 hours of that, like fund being launched, I think we had already crossed $1.52 million, and which can only happen in crypto. Imagine, like, if I had to do it in a non-crypto way, I would have to start a bank account and then, push things over there, and then people will have to transfer via. And global, I could not have taken, like, global swift transfers would have taken like multiple days and all that. But here, like, I started a fund, and it did within 15-20 hours. It was really big. And then all I had to do is I had to set up the kind of entity structure. That took like 3-4 days, 5 days before we could actually deploy those funds. But then once we set up that structure, I was able to deploy, give it to ACT Foundation, which is being run by, let's say, some of these top co-founders and VCs in the space. They are doing great work. We also, like, a very great thing, like, from our volunteer community, is that some of them were able to find out that, okay, there is a Indian Navy ship which is going to Kuwait to get 1,000 oxygen cylinders in donation, and it was also carrying 1,000 empty oxygen cylinders, right? And then they also figured out that there is a 3,000 spare capacity in that ship. And then we were able to contact, some of these volunteers were able to contact that Kuwait vendor, which was actually donating, kind of supplying that. So we were able to buy 1,000 more cylinders and bring in more people. So, at the end, in 3-4 days, that ship sailed back with 5,000 cylinders, like 3,000 spare capacity was fulfilled. That was a crazy thing. Like today only, they just now pushed it that Boni Kapoor's manager was admitted to them. And he has actually tweeted about it, that overwhelmed with the support and care given by this, this hospital and all that. So all those things are kind of things are happening. And then we are now talking to Sonu Sood and team. It can expedite our efforts, so we can kind of convert this money and in a compliant way bring it to Sonu Sood's foundation, because they are doing a great work on the ground. So
amazing.
those are some of the things.
We're going to link to your tweet where you can accept the donations in the description below. Do check it out and do donate if you can. JD,
I mean,
if
especially for me,
if you had to recommend 2-3 things for an Indian engineer to do to get involved with Ethereum, what would those be? Like, what should they read? How should they begin? Who should they get in touch, etc., etc.
Yep. I mean, JD can provide his side of inputs. I would say that, for an application engineer, you should, simply take the plunge, right? First, go out, and then, like, maybe if somebody wants, like, there are 2 kinds of learning mechanisms. Like, there are some people who want to start with some sort of manual, some sort of textbook. So if you are that person, go with Mastering Ethereum book, right? And then start from there and learn more. But it can be very technical. Do few chapters. But I will say, take a direct plunge and start, if you are an engineer, think of building a simple D app that they say, right? Just like a D app which provides a web page where you can, simply, let's say, create an NFT, right? Simple, create an NFT on a simple web page. Just do this. And then you will, automatically, then you don't need to do anything. You'll automatically get sucked into the field. It's such a, kind of a gravitating field.
One thing I suggest everyone who want to go into the Ethereum or any crypto world, I would ask them to read Bitcoin white paper, right? Even if you don't understand, just write through it like for a few pages and try to get sense of it, like what is it exactly. It will give you like the whole crypto space ka gist, in one thing, like why people are building it, the whole thing, and how it started, basically how Satoshi started the whole thing. Even if you don't understand the last few pages, it's fine, but just the gist of it would work. And then you just go with the mastering Bitcoin first, and then start with Ethereum, so you will know like why Ethereum is what it is right now. And then you go with the simple building applications directly, maybe some hello world applications, as you do with the other languages. That is totally fine. And yeah, I think the good thing about crypto is that if you ping anyone, any CEO, anyone in the industry, they will reply to you. Okay.
As of right now, but the day they become $20 billion, they'll stop.
No. See, Tanmay, so this is a good point. Okay, so I cold email Indian entrepreneurs when I started, and Silicon Valley and other people as well, and I get the most reply from outside for the help. Right, this is the mindset we have to change. Currently, let's say if you cold email to any Indian CEOs, they might not reply. Like most probably, they won't reply to you. Of course, like, you need to make sure you write email nicely and don't ask like stupid questions like please help
get to
me,
the
guys.
point.
Yeah, get to the point and short and sweet. But when I do that, I did very much cold email in my early Matic days, and I get the replies from them like 80% of the time. Okay, so that's the thing. I also try to reply to people, or I just delegate, or maybe whatever I do. But I try to reply on DMs, my DMs, Twitter DMs. So I think the crypto space is very open that way.
Yeah, the culture overall is very, very different. Like Tanmay, if you also hang out with more crypto people, you'll realize that there is this kind of, like, I have heard from many people who are not from crypto, and they kind of interacted with some of crypto community, and every one of them says that crypto community is more cool, right? This, you can see that it's a meme industry also. Like every part is like about being like chilled out, and community is a very big angle. And it kind of like, I think it's with many people, unless somebody starts like, as JD is saying that sometimes, like I've also said in some podcasts, that one of the things that I want Indian entrepreneurs to kind of shun is to kind of have this god kind of image when they have some sort of success. Like we have seen so many people they get like small amount of success, and then they're like, okay, 56 inch ki chhati ho jati hai immediately, right? So that Indian entrepreneurs should avoid, and stay humble. Humility is a very important aspect in any journey. And I think overall crypto ka ethos is like that only. You can actually go to conferences, go to Vitalik directly, if you have some good points, he will speak to you, and come to anyone, whoever is big or small, they generally tend to respond and tend to help you out. So yeah,
this is also, I think, a value that's core to the Ethereum community, right? Because if you look at the Bitcoiners, typically the Bitcoin community is extremely aggressive, right?
Yep.
And rightly so, because they are standing up to like the most elite class of our society, like the central bankers and the economists, and basically like people who write op-eds in the New York Times. And so they kind of just, instead of engaging with them in their language, they completely reject the frame of an economist and troll them from the bottom up, right? And so I think that's makes sense for them. But I think the Ethereum community is very positive because you have to build with each other. Like projects have to coordinate across corporate boundaries to build things. So I think that's something I have noticed as well. with the Ethereum community, which is the incredibly kind and wonderful people. I just want to ask on behalf of all the right brain people, the same question Tanmay asked. How can non-technical people get involved in Ethereum?
Buy it.
Yeah, no. I think most people, like, many people are in crypto are non-technical. Even VCs, most VCs in crypto space are like, they understand crypto a little bit, but not depth on the tech wise. So I think, to be honest, like, I in my family also right now, like, if you're not, if you are graduated right now in a non-tech stream, I tell them, try to go into crypto world, right? So there are many so currently, let's say, in our company, right, we have a tech team, we have business team, marketing, right? So of course, let's say, you can also try with the business side of the things as a non-tech people, right? Marketing side of the things, community handling, head of community. There are many openings for head of communities as well. So those things you can also do. Also on the exchanges, on multiple exchanges, we have of course, like, tech team, other teams as well, like, WazirX and Binance. Coinbase also have a huge non-tech team there. So I think this is a very, like, same question that, like, any startups would have. They have, like, both side of people, like tech people, non-tech people. So I think
Yeah, there are many roles.
wouldn't be a problem. Yeah,
But
many roles.
Tanmay,
Yeah, many roles.
your suggestion is also not bad. To be honest, that's a best hack. If you want to get involved, take out 10,000 rupees from your pocket or 50,000 rupees from your pocket, invest in something. The moment you have skin in the game,
You're going to start reading about it.
automatically you are, like, checking on Twitter what is happening with this project, why it is going up, why it is going down, and all that, and then you see other projects, and you kind of get sucked into this
Yes.
field,
Yeah,
right?
but use your brain, because I have seen some traders who just say, okay, bhai, bum kara do mera token, maine invest kiya, right? Don't become those people.
Yeah, of course.
Just, yeah.
We're speaking so much about Ethereum. I'm curious, what do you guys think about the other chains, right? Like Solana, for example, right? Like, what do you think about all the other chains that are being developed and, slowly getting their own community together?
So I have a slight different view than maybe Sandeep has or Ethereum community has. What I think is kind of, slowly, yeah, so there are there is also Cosmos ecosystem. Maybe you heard the name.
Mhm.
Like, they're also doing great work. They also have a good example users there, but not as much as Ethereum. But I see, all the people are trying to do the same thing. Want to make the crypto the best thing in the world, right? Make it work, right? So what I think, in the currently Ethereum is leading and everything, but slowly, people start kind of, building the bridges. Other blocks also started, creating the bridges to Ethereum, leverage their users as well. So Solana, Near also doing the same thing. The only problem is that, they have a different tooling and everything. So people are not moving there because of that reason only, right? So
And by
once
people, you mean the developers?
developers, yeah, mostly developers, right? The Binance chain is also hyped a few weeks ago, right? Because they are also EVM based chains and doing the same thing, right, as we are, right? So what in the longer run, I'm seeing, like, many blockchains maybe interoperable between each other, doing something. Let's say we have this Polkadot, Solana, Near, and multiple others. So I'm seeing, like, I want to see multiple people succeeding in this ecosystem and building something beautiful, right? So let's say if you think about the Ethereum 2.0, right? They have a base tech, but they also took some inspiration from Near's tech, Near protocol's tech, right? Solana is doing something ultimately different thing, and I actually admire everyone in the ecosystem, because they all are doing the experiments, right? And no, I don't want to blame anyone, they okay, ye nahi chalega, wo nahi chalega. I just want to see, okay, kya chal raha hai, kya nahi chalega. Let's build something. Let's see, like, if it works or not. But yeah, Ethereum has a best ecosystem right now, community. So I'm a little bit biased on the Ethereum right now. Of course, like, Polygon is
course.
also on the Ethereum. So I want it to succeed. But yeah, like, I want to see more experiments, basically.
Those are the things that, make me feel that, Ethereum's network effects have crossed beyond that point. where it is very, very difficult for other networks, especially if this Ethereum scalability keeps on coming with Polygon, with other layer 2 solutions. I think it's very, very hard for anyone to kind of beat that. But for sure, we have to see.
One helpful analogy that helped me understand this was, it's like each blockchain is like a city. Right?
Correct.
So imagine you just started, the world just started, and you're trying to build cities. And Ethereum, like, people have come and built hospitals, people have come and built like our apartment complexes, city square, a park. There's so much, like, it's so many people have built so many exceptional things that you can go live. It's a livable city, right? And then you have other blockchains that are competing to build cities, but there's just a city square. There's just a, so it has to attract
And
builders
cities
to come
have
and
network
build.
effects also, right? The more
Yeah.
things that are available, the more people want to go build there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we are already building the suburbs. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So we are building the suburbs also. So you don't even need, like, if you want to live in Vashi, there is a Vashi in Polygon, right? So you just live there.
we were hoping to make this international channel accessible to people around the world. And here came Sandeep with all his Dahisar Vashi examples. That's just going to fly over everybody else's head. I think before we, sort of start wrapping up, there's some stuff that I think our viewers would want to know, which is, first of all, Pella, the first Bitcoin, what was the price that you guys bought it at?
I bought it at $600.
$600.
$600. USD, yeah.
Yeah, I was late a little bit. I was 10. No, I also bought it 3,000 USD and then 10,000 USD as well. So yeah, between that. Yeah.
Okay. If someone had, say, 10,000 rupees to invest today, right? Like, what would you recommend them to invest in outside of Ethereum or Matic?
If you had 10,000 rupees.
Yeah.
I think Bitcoin would be safest if you want to go safe. Bitcoin would be the safest bet for now, like outside Ethereum and.
Why do you say that?
I would say right now, if you wanted to invest, like, apart from these, like, not in financial advice, but I would say maybe go for Aave. Aave is, poised for a next round of success, because they have, like, especially after launching on Polygon, they now have $16 billion in, this thing. I think they have a, good chance to, uptick in their valuation.
I have multiple, but I can't name them. So I just say Bitcoin, yeah.
What is your guys' personal portfolios like?
So
JD,
you go
just
first.
how you think about personal portfolio construction, just at the level of, okay, fiat versus crypto, and within crypto, how you allocate capital. I assume some of it is ideologically motivated. You're pro Ethereum, so maybe you're heavy there. Just curious how you guys think about it.
Sandeep, first you.
I would say that if you remove the founding, like the allocation from the Matic, this thing, like, co-founders allocation from the Matic side of things, if you remove that, because that's significant. Apart from that, I think 90% of my 80 to 90% of my portfolio would be Ethereum. 80% I would say, and 20% would be some random, like some shit coins, some good shit coins, some bad shit coins. But
wow, so you have no Bitcoin?
No, I have 0 Bitcoins.
Wow, that is amazing.
You bought it at $600, and then what? You sold it at 610?
Yeah, I sold it for Ethereum.
Oh, you sold it for
when
Ethereum.
It 2000, I sold it for Ethereum, and then since then I've never really bought.
And that ETH BTC chart looks like this, huh? Lately,
Yeah.
So, hey.
Yeah. So I've apart from Matic, of course, like I have Ethereum, Bitcoin, and of course, like I can't name them on this video. Yeah, multiple. Like I have now I have 20 plus coins in my portfolio right now. But yeah, that's I hold Bitcoin plus Ethereum both.
Do you all have any
good amount.
we're obviously reaching the mania stage of the bull market, right? So there's going to be a lot of FOMO and greed, and
Look at the grin on their faces, Akshay. And you said mania phase of the bull market.
Just before that, like we don't have a fiat, by the way. Like
you're all
we
in
don't
on
have
crypto.
a fiat portfolio, mostly crypto. Even if let's say I'm doing a small amount of I have in fiat. I'm a LP, like a limited partner at the fund rolling fund angel list, SynDB. So I have some there. Apart from that, I have all in crypto mostly the investing in multiple things. Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing. That shows. I mean, to me, that shows
I don't
conviction.
have a
Right?
much. I don't invest in mutual funds. So
Yes, after you make 11,000% in crypto, I don't think 11% would be exciting for you. There would जिसमें से भी 2% will go in expense ratio.
It is like the people who have traded in crypto, and Tanmay, you can also vouch for it. Like it has kind of warped our returns, kind of profiles that I will never be able to. I will keep my money, like standing, but I will not put in like 5%, 6% mutual fund or something like that.
Yeah,
Never.
I was
Like,
telling Akshay, saying, look, you gotta look. My job is to get more interested, and especially youngsters, right? As you know, India, we don't really talk about money that openly, right? The
Yeah.
concept of how to manage your money, we don't really talk about it. And the conventional advice would say, okay, just get someone interested in it, teach them how compounding works. And then here comes crypto, which takes compounding and then just injects steroids into it, right? And so all of a sudden, fiat conversation just sounds incredibly boring.
Yes.
But you gotta start somewhere, right? So I would recommend young people, don't start at crypto. Like start understanding how money works and how money grows, and then eventually make your way into crypto. Anyway, Akshay, you were sorry. The question was, what advice would you have for people during this bull market?
Because look, everybody's trying to make their money 100x. Everyone's trying to find the next 100x thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's basically like it's at that stage where everyone is feeling the greed. So I feel like a lot of people will get wrecked trying to chase those 100x.
Yeah,
gains.
They will.
So any advice for them would be helpful.
I would say that this bull market, we are poised for at least one more rally for this market, like which everyone believes that will take Bitcoin to maybe, like, again, not financial advice, but that's what I speak to multiple people who are active in the markets, that that can take Bitcoin to $100,000, and then there will be a bear market for some time and all that. But what one thing I want to say over there is that people are still putting crypto into two things. One is the normal like BTC cycle, which is a 4-year cycle, right? You have a halving and then Bitcoin goes up, then that money trickles down into alts and all that. So still everybody's trying to force fit into that Bitcoin 4-year cycle, right?
Then there's the
and which
super
I think-
cycle.
yeah. And this is the super cycle, and which I feel that due to Ethereum there should be slight differences. Second thing is, because Ethereum does not have that cycle. Second thing is that now, unlike 2017, 2013, 2016, all those bull market, 15 bull markets, we now have product market fits. Like Bitcoin has its product market fit as store of value. Why? Because companies like Tesla and Apples and all these other world are buying it for the store of the value. Second, Ethereum has DeFi as the biggest product market fit, right? So it is there, and Wall Street and all these traditional world is interested into it. NFTs are a big product market fit, right? So, and then DAOs are slowly emerging into a kind of a eventual product market fit, and there are multiple such fields. Like William, blockchain gaming is going to be really big. So in this market, we already have some product market fit. So my personal belief, or maybe wishful thinking, you can say, is that it will, this time the bear will not be as vehement, or the kind of correction will not be as aggressive as it has been previously, like up to 80-90% correction, because I feel that this time we have product market fits, but we'll still have 30-40-50% correction maybe, but then in, like, if you see the tech markets from 2008 to till 2020, till that corona dump happened, we saw a massive, like, 12-year bull run in the tech stocks, right? So who knows here, but the point being that there will be correction, but then now we have product market fit, so it should not be as aggressive, as deep as previously.
Yeah.
That's my view.
What I'm thinking is that whatever Sandeep said here, people won't hear him. This is being greedy, will be greedy. So I just say, if you're down to whatever you purchase, if there's a crypto market goes down suddenly, something happens, don't go panic and don't sell. You know what I'm saying? Don't, just wait. Crypto is such a way that it goes up and down always. So if you find like, okay, if you're in panic and anxiety and if you want to sell, just wait, take a deep breath and wait. That's what I would say, because people won't hear anything else.
Yeah, this is a great advice,
Bull
JD.
market, yeah.
One kind of star terms and condition I want to add over there, that especially if you are in good level, like, good blue chip crypto, like for example,
Yeah, of
Bitcoin,
course.
Ethereum and all that. If you are holding a shit coin, like when the bear market hits, do exit also, because, some of them might go
No,
to zero.
yeah,
Zero.
I mean, just don't go like any shipped coin or any
Yeah.
random coin you heard
Say
here,
say
every
say
day.
Doge. Say Doge.
No, no, to be frank, it looks great from outside. You can just pump, but if you have experience, you can do that. You can also trade Doge and make money out of it. We have done it. I think I don't know if you're about you, but yeah, people have done it. Like people made some good amount of money in Doge, and people got wrecked also.
Hmm.
So you should know, like when you should like it gets
Correct.
you should have a experience that. But yeah, like I'm saying, like if you want to go safe, just buy the blue chip cryptos and then wait and hold. Simple as that.
Yeah, be an investor, not a trader. I think that's what JD, is also trying
Yeah.
to say, that just hold for longer term, and especially if you don't have in experience and this thing in trading. Like, and especially one thing I want to say, please do not do leverage trading. Like, please do not
Yeah,
try to
please
make-
don't do that. If you don't like, if you're doing first time, don't do it. Like just take example, read about it and small money. If your neighbor is doing good money, out of trading, it doesn't mean you can also do that. It's so please be careful there.
Fair enough. And hold on to all your Matic as well. Right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Not an investment advice. by
Not
the way,
investment advice. On that note, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. It's a big time for Polygon, and upwards and onwards. Yeah, hopefully this will be the first of many conversations.
Thank you.
And thank you, Tanmay, for having us. And you are the one, first one to recognize us in the crypto in Indian market and YouTubers. So thank you very
And
much.
And Tanmay, like, a very big kudos to you, because I think you have been, trying to dispel some knowledge at least amongst Indian, people, about crypto. So thanks a lot from the
Yeah,
whole
thank you very much, Tanmay.
Yeah, and I think all credit to Akshay for actually having gotten me into crypto and teaching me about things beyond Dogecoin.
Awesome stuff, Akshay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Akshay. Yeah.
And it's the first of many conversations, guys. I
Thank
think
you,
I'm
gentlemen.
hoping that this starts a wave of recognition for what you guys have achieved at Polygon. Please make sure to subscribe. More from the Matic and Polygon founders soon. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah. Bye, guys.